You know I wouldn't be here if I didn't have something good for you. Greetings all, I'm Jake S. Weissman. I know not 3 days ago I was crying, peeing my pants, talking about how I'm never going to do this ever again. And I'd be back one day. Everything changed yesterday. Who would have thought? We've been following this story for the whole month, and the summer isn't over yet, so the news is going to keep coming. I tried to make another video where I just read a couple of articles. One article became 2 articles. With this third article, I was like, I gotta get in front of the camera again. It's nice to see you. I shaved for you. Dollar Shave Club. Smooth, buttery skin. While we were all looking over here and paying attention to Tenet and Christopher Nolan, over here, Universal and AMC were pulling their own prestige. They out-Nolan'd Nolan. What did they do? What was going on while we were all looking over here? What was happening over here? It was announced yesterday that Universal and AMC, of all unlikely allies, have come to a deal since the Trolls 2 confusion, when Universal realized that they probably would make more money not going to theaters anymore. AMC responding to Trolls 2 by saying, you guys move too fast. We're never showing your movies again. That lasted all of 2 months, because obviously they were having talks behind closed doors. And while we were all wondering when these movies would reopen, they completely changed the game. Shifted the paradigm. Everything's different now. Without hyperbole, everything is different now. Genie's out of the bottle, toothpaste out of the tube, genie's out of the golden toothpaste tube. Universal and AMC struck a deal shortening the theatrical window from 90 days to 3 weekends. 17 days. A 90-day 3-month window where their movies can only be played theatrically has now shrunk to 3 weeks. Then Universal, who just released Peacock, NBC Universal Peacock streaming service, will have full access to do whatever they want. Will they sell them on their service? Will they stick with the usual Google Play, Amazon Prime, iTunes deal? Will it be exclusive to Peacock members for a certain window? Forever? So many opportunities now. That's huge. I cannot emphasize how huge this is. The theatrical window is the thing that theater owners fight for. The longer the window, the more time a movie can make money in the theater, because they know the second it goes online, they stop making their money in the theater because everyone can just watch it at home. This is how home releases worked for a really long time. Theatrical windows used to be really, really long. Remember when a movie would come out and you wouldn't see the VHS or the DVD until almost a full year later, maybe 2/3 of a year? The only thing they still do that with is Christmas movies, where a movie will come out in the theaters on Christmas and then they'll wait a whole year so they can sell it on DVD and VOD on Christmas. But now VOD, the money never sleeps. You can just make money all the time. It just slowly keeps catching all the cash. I'm so excited because this is the first move, right? We had this stalemate the entire time I've been filming these videos, and this is a move. What on earth could AMC get that would convince them to shrink their window from 3 months to 3 weeks? Stake in the VOD profits. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's obviously enough to change the game. Window shrinks, AMC still gets a cut when it leaves theaters. Again, I don't know the details, but as far as broad strokes go, holy shit. Does that mean AMC is working with Regal and Cinemark? Is AMC just pulling ahead? Is AMC leaving those guys in the dust? Because if they make this deal with Universal, it's not like anyone else will hold on to their window. Why would Disney hold on to a 3-month window unless they made more money with it? But it doesn't behoove them to actually sign a piece of paper to say that. Keep it in the theaters as long as you want, but keep it online as long as you want, and people will watch it how they want. That's where we're at now. If all of these guys have their own platforms, they cut out the middleman. And they're banking solely on our movie-going friends that want to see a movie on the big screen. Me and my buddy who commented on the last video, like, we want to see movies on the big screen, so we're going to keep going to the movies as long as it's safe. That's a big draw. I don't know if it's sustainable, though, financially anymore. Independent theaters will have to come up with some roundabout way to deal with this. This is so big, I don't even know how to start pulling it apart. I may be all over the place. I may be erratic. I'll try and edit this so that it is concise, but my head is all over the place because everything is about to change. With all of these platforms, it's true. Hillary Bones has been saying the same thing over and over again. Now the studios are just throwing theaters a bone. And that's why she's called Hillary Bones. They prestiged us. So I don't know what this means, if this is AMC trying to grab a monopoly on everything, leaving their competitors in the dust. I don't know how they're going to team up, how studios are going to want to team up with different theaters. Will that happen? Will Disney only release in Cinemark and Universal only release at AMC because Cinemark won't make that deal for the window? I just don't know. But obviously Universal's income was worth AMC getting involved with their business. I told you, there's no way they're going to get rid of that Blumhouse cash. Getting rid of Universal means getting rid of Fast and the Furious, all Blumhouse movies, Jurassic World, and the list goes on. I'm not really sure how theaters are going to survive this in the long run, because this move shows that theatrical exhibition is just kind of for the theater of it, for the love of the game, for the romance of cinema. And they'll make their money, but movies have to do so much better now in 3 weekends to prove that theaters are essential to the process. And that the studios aren't just throwing them a bone so that they can sell some candy so that they can keep the roof on. I was talking with some friends. We were saying maybe go the music box route. Love talking about the music box. We love them. They show 70 millimeter movies. They have actual film. We'll go back to the real experience. Imagine going to the theater, watching a 70 millimeter film. They had Hateful Eight, played forever. Every time they get a brand new 70 millimeter, it plays forever. And that's what they're showing right now. That's their big draw, is people can come in, see Kubrick and Hitchcock on 70 millimeter. It's very good draw. But that's a step in that direction, right? Where if the theater is going to survive, now it's starting to feel like we're going to go backwards a little bit. Bigger rooms, film, people who are very romantic, who want this very particular experience, because the window's only going to get smaller and smaller. Once the money comes in like that, once they see how much money they're really making, everyone's going to follow this model. It's Moneyball, baby. It's not officially the movie of the episode, but it's kind of I watch it all the time, and I wonder why I watch Moneyball all the time. And it's because it's problem solving, and it's people thinking forward and changing the game and looking at the entire game from a completely different perspective. When everyone is shoving stuff down your throat saying it's this way, that way, this is the way it's always been, let us do our thing. There were a couple of people saying, you know what? You're not looking at this right. And if you look at it this way and play the game this way, you might just get ahead. AMC just played some serious Moneyball, because now they're not just in the business. I don't know where all their money is. I don't know who all is incorporated in the AMC umbrella, and if they had stake in any VOD before. But now, with whatever is going on with Universal, more deals will now get made, as if Paramount will let Universal do this and stick to a 90-day thing for them. I'm thrilled. I could go on, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I'm missing, but I think we should move on to the next thing. The two articles that I was going to talk about yesterday and the day before was Tenet's plans for overseas release. It's looking like they are going to open in the UK. They're going to open in Russia. They're going to open in Africa. And they're going to open all over except for the US, Latin America, South America, and China. That's a theatrical exhibition plan that excludes two of the biggest markets that we got. We're not sold anything's going to stay. We still have a month. Spain's cases are going up, which means UK may be shutting things down again. If the UK shuts down again, this will all go to pot. They're saying selected theaters in the US, Tenet, selected theaters in the US on Labor Day. They killed everything this month. There's nothing else coming, which I guess means you can cycle more rounds if you show Tenet. But who are these limited cities? If we're not showing it in New York and Chicago and anywhere in California, is it just going to be shown in Macomb, Illinois, and Montpelier, Vermont? Montana? Lucky for everybody in Wyoming, they get to watch Tenet, but it's just a lot of people that aren't being included. And they are sticking to a theatrical run. They are not planning on doing a VOD thing unless they're playing Prestige right now. Which, knowing Nolan, he just may be. None of these dates are going to stick. Maybe they will. But what I think will happen is if the UK and all of these overseas markets open and the US can't, we're going to see how the US reacts to that. That combined with the new news of AMC Universal deal. Oodalolly. I guess they're desperate to start making their money back. But we'll see now that this deal is made if Tenet continues to be this number one story, or if it's going to kind of fall to the side a little bit, maybe become less of a symbolic thing. And we'll start looking at next Universal releases and the studios that follow suit. Maybe this means that AMC will be more open to taking Netflix content, Amazon original content, the opposite, the vice versa, right? Maybe they'll be so desperate for content in a longer window that Netflix will finally be able to have a nice long run so that they can enter awards season. Maybe that fight is done. I'm not sure. I'm not sold. I'm not willing to make a definitive statement like that. But this is the first major VOD movie theater kind of crossover. So it may play out in different ways like that. Maybe Cinemark will make a deal with Netflix. That would be fun. It would be fun to see how different people play this chess game right now. The last article I wanted to talk to was going to be paired with the Tenet release. It's a Variety article. The headline is New Jersey Defends Movie Theater Shutdown, Warning of Unnecessary Danger. We've been talking about this New Jersey lawsuit the entire month. Movie theater owners, NATO, sued New Jersey, sued the governor to open their theaters, saying that it was no different than church. And if churches should open, then movie theaters should open. Well, New Jersey finally responded to that. And I wanted to read some of this response because I thought it was pretty cool. It's what I've been saying. Remember who you're listening to. Are you listening to somebody who is working for the theater, the studio? Or are you listening to somebody who's kind of working for you? Which in theory, government here in the US should be doing. Obviously, things are a little fucky right now. But the Assistant Attorney General, Daniel M. Vanea, had some really awesome quotes that I will read verbatim right now.
Indeed, movie theaters require customers to be seated in a confined indoor room for an extended period of time, risking cough spread from those prolonged interactions, and those risks are magnified whenever patrons remove their mask, which they do to consume the concessions plaintiffs wish to sell, and which would also be hard to observe and to prevent in a dark theater.
He went on to note
that these risks are especially unnecessary, given that people can still stream movies at home.
And he urged the court not to second-guess the state's actions to protect public health.
Bluntly, few preliminary injunction motions present risks this stark.
Wow. I'll skip forward a little bit. In denying the request, U.S. District Judge Brian R. Martinotti also took note that
infections are rising in other states, causing them to reclose their theaters.
The theater argued that
there was no good reason to allow churches to remain open while keeping theaters closed, and said that doing so was a violation of free speech.
The state cited distinctions between attending church and going to a movie, noting that
in a dark theater, it is impossible to know if strangers are wearing masks. In a church, Vinaya noted that worshipers may remove their masks only briefly to take communion, while a theatergoer may munch popcorn throughout a film.
Vinaya writes,
simply put, as a matter of black letter First Amendment law, the state does not have to allow a couple a night out to watch Tenet simply because it is also protecting their right to freely worship.
Thank you, Assistant District Attorney Vinaya of New Jersey. You're a good dude. You're the first guy, the first thing I've read, anyone saying anything like this. Thank you. For real. I'm not being facetious. Like, this is rad. Finally. If you guys are reading anyone else saying this or seeing anyone else saying any of this kind of stuff, please send it my way so that I don't think I'm crazy. This guy makes me feel like I'm not crazy. This guy has nothing to do with a movie theater. This is a lawyer and a guy representing the state and representing public health, saying that it is not equitable and super unnecessary. Go figure. All right, beautifuls, that's it for the news. You know I'll be back soon. Things are popping off. I need to keep the receipts. I would like to shout out Luke.
Well, I'm very pleased you liked it.
You're not listening. I didn't just like it.
And also Dominique, Esther, Madison, Dylan. It was really fun to see you guys. And also, thank you for your special insight, Hillary Stroshine. The song of the episode, Life Ain't So Shitty by Blind Melon. I say it all the time. It's a great song. Play it loud. Shannon Hoon. The book of the episode. I haven't read this in a minute, but I've read it a couple of times. It's Kurt Vonnegut's A Man Without a Country. It's the last thing that he wrote before he passed away. And it's in my collection. He just hates President George W. Bush so much. Nothing could be worse than George W. Bush. And I was saying that well into 2020, maybe up until the first part of February, saying George W. Bush was the worst president we ever had, present company included. You know that scene in High Fidelity when John Cusack is like, congratulations, Laura, you made it onto the list. Fine. That's how I feel about the current president. You did it, Don, with a bullet. I saw this book sitting in my collection. I thought, oh my God, what would he have to write right now? What would Kurt Vonnegut write about 2020? Has Kurt Vonnegut already written about 2020? I'm so curious and know he would be so angry. So check out that book. It's a very stream of conscious, just him telling old man stories. It's a lovely book. The movie of the episode, Clean Sheets. I made this movie. I'm a filmmaker. I'm going to link this movie. Please watch Clean Sheets. I would love to continue the conversation. I would love for people to watch this movie. And I'll be getting it up on Prime really soon. So thank you for watching it. The fact is, the people I know who watch this program have already seen Clean Sheets, probably more than once. So don't feel the need to watch it again, and thank you. I love you very, very much. If you haven't seen it, check it out. How do I usually end these things?
I'll just have a cup of coffee.
Beer it is.
No, I said coffee.
Beer.
Coffee.
B-ear.
C-O.
B-E.